Hello and welcome back to the beach remodel. We've been here over spring break 2020. While the rest of the world's in pandemic, we're in lockdown in Yachts. And it's been a very productive 7 days we spent. I'll give you a little tour around. We'll start here on the back deck. There's a rotted set of stairs here to my right. We took those off because it was the only way off the deck. So basically you couldn't get off the deck, you fall through. And this weekend we did two things. One, we trimmed back all of this honeysuckle. So it's huge, overgrown, and built this new set of stairs so we could actually safely get in inside and outside the house from the back without having to walk through the front of the house. I think they come up pretty nice. Some of the other things we did to the back, we cleaned this up, leveled the deck, raised the door because once I leveled the deck, the door wouldn't open. On the back of the house, you can't quite see it, but we have these three windows above, and they were just awful, covered with cobwebs, all that kind of junk, gross. Washed those off. They still need a little more cleaning, but man, it really made a huge difference. Additionally, one of the biggest things that you can't see, which is amazing, is the remnants and rotted wood from a massive old deck that was just heaped up here. It's nothing more than a rodent trap. And so that took hours with the kids and I hauling this over to a huge trailer, putting it in there and taking it to the dump. But it's so much better. And at the same time, we found a spigot out here in the backyard that actually works. So a bonus for all the hard work. Another project we took on this weekend was cleaning out the shed because we're storing all the tools and excess material inside the house or on the porch. And it's not the best thing to have. So we have the shed. It makes sense to use it. So come on in here. And come take a look-see. It's actually quite full at this point, but it's full of all the stuff we're going to use. My tools, it has some mud, it has excess drywall, it has some lumber. Cleaned it all up. I swept and vacuumed it in here. Discovered a few more things. I actually found a compressor in here that seems to work. Checked the chop saw. Chop saw works, and so does the chainsaw. Cleaned up some more of it. Still needs a lot more cleaning. But what this did is it gave us the ability to bring in some materials and tools and junk that we just didn't want to have in the house. So that's a big recapture of this space. And I also found this, and so now when I come in, I can ring this little chime, clear the energy, and make it all wonderful. For the rest of the backyard, Ann did quite a bit of weeding, and we did quite a bit of pruning. So if you follow me over here, these bushes, which were once basically covering the kitchen window here, we've trimmed them all back. You can get around in between, and they're not touching the house anymore, which is really the important piece here. Since we're not touching the house, we're not getting any more damage to the home. And at the same time, Ann was pruning and cleaning up some of the spaces in the garden, and she discovered this interesting brick path. So our lined brick path. So we can see that there's two lines, looks like railroad tracks, and they look like they go on around right to this little parking space over here, but they're under a couple inches or more of sandy, mossy soil. So it's going to be an excavation project. I think it might be worthwhile. This looks kind of nice. And then while she was doing that, we also wondered what this plant was over here. We discovered it's actually fennel. When you break it off or you cut it, boy, it smells like licorice. So that's the outside space here. One of the things the girls did this weekend is built this beautiful bench that Grandma sent up to the beach. So they built it, put it out here in front of the house, facing the face. So when you sit here, you can actually see the sunshine when it's sunny. You can see the sun come up on your left, and in the evening you come here and you see the sunset on the right. It's a nice space. And then as an added benefit, we all signed the bottom of the bench in permanent marker. So I'll put our names on it and the dates, kind of commemorative time. Here we are on the driveway side of the house. We did do some work out here as well. Now, Ann came out here and did this really nice job of putting starting the weeding and pruning back some of these beautiful, huge variety of plants we have in this yard. I didn't even notice it when we first came because everything was so overgrown. But as she's continued to pick away at it and pick the weeds out, it just starts coming to life. So obviously there's some beautiful plants and great opportunities, thousands of bulbs in the yard. And one thing I did not mention on the other side, one of the plants that we trimmed back, I guess Ann trimmed that back, turns out to be hardy white fuchsia. And so the evening after we trimmed that, we were inside the house looking out the window at it, and hummingbirds were coming up to it. You could see the hummingbirds because it was no longer like bunched all in, and the hummingbirds are coming up eating out of the little flowers. It was awesome. On the other side of the driveway, we took some time and trimmed all this back so you can comfortably pull two vehicles in here side by side without being in the trees, which is going to help. It's just a little cleaner. And one thing I didn't mention during this video was the week before we got here, Lila was here, and she had them put on these brand new gutters all over the house. They're beautiful metal one-piece gutters. They're all welded, and they cleaned the roof, demossed it all, treated it, and then put up gutters. Now, there didn't used to be gutters in the front, and so because there's no gutters in the front, that water ran off right into the windows, and they rotted them. And so now the gutters are on, the water's no longer coming in. So come on in. So, welcome to the cottage. So Lila brought a bunch of beautiful furniture and artwork and all kinds of furnishings to start putting her place together, which is great. Unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to prime and paint it yet for her, but she says we'll do that along the way, so she's not worried about it. One of the things we did do is there was an old white refrigerator sat inside this particular cabinet, and then it has some kind of additional cabinet on top of it, but none of that would fit with her new refrigerator that she had brought down. So we got rid of that cabinet and cut this thing out, so made sure her new refrigerator fit properly. I'm sure she'll work some magic here, or we can do something to have some kind of lip trim here to make it look nice. And so that'll be coming. Scrub the whole floor up. We did take this cabinet out, patched and primed this wall behind, so it's ready to go. If she wants to keep it, great. If she doesn't, that's great too. Additionally, in the bedroom here, we actually got it primed. So follow me in here. Oh, I did not get new switch plate covers on, but it needs them. So I'll be putting new switch plate covers on when we finish it up, when we do painting and such. So I got this room all primed. I think it looks pretty good. The next step is obviously get some paint on it. I primed the window, needs to get paint on that as well. And it'll be a pretty nice little space for her to be. Okay, I'm going to point out that right here next to me, Ann did trim this all back. It looks so much nicer than you may have seen from previous videos, or you can go back and look at the one previous to this. Come on into the porch area. This was previously completely filled up with garbage. Garbage. It was wood, cabinet doors, all kinds of junk that was left in the house. Came here, this whole place was completely full. Now, there's a little bit here because there's another project I'm working on, but this is all cleared out. All this is looking really good. I actually have chopped a bunch of wood for the fire, so this and vacuumed it all out. So it's all set. We're actually in great shape. So now the porch seems viable as opposed to just a dumping ground. There are a few things still on the porch, but again, it's usable again the way it should be. We come out here, we can leave our shoes outside and not take them in the house. It's nice. Welcome to our home. So this is the first floor and the room that we wanted to make so we could the one room that was more or less sacred, or the first one we fixed up through the process. We spend the most time. So Mom was generous enough to give us this beautiful couch. She took the one that was here, she liked it better. And so she brought this in with her movers. And in this space, I don't think we've really done anything, but she did bring a stereo in here for us to listen to music. The big project this weekend, or this week, was really on this end of the room. Took days. So, I don't know if you remember from previous videos, this thing was wrapped with just pine. It was done improperly. So the window wasn't trimmed or set in any way, shape, or form. Plus, like the rest of this room, this wall had the wainscoting. And we really didn't like it. It makes this room dark and smaller. And so we decided to invest our time this week and start pulling off the wainscoting and see if we could make it right again. Well, once we got it off, we realized that the wainscoting wasn't screwed or nailed into the wall. It was actually glued onto the wall. And so as we tore it off, it tore some of the drywall paper with it. And of course, when drywall paper gets torn, you have to patch it, and it's kind of a mess. So I ended up having to put 2 coats of skim coat on here, sand it all out, and I've primed it. It's pretty smooth. I think it's about ready for paint. A little edge work down at the very bottom, but if you see, I think the window trimmed out very nicely, and this is just primed. The window's not painted yet, but with real actual window trim material. It's all caulked, ready to go, and I think it makes this room look bright and much, much larger. I can't imagine how much better it's going to be once we get the rest of this wainscoting off the rest of the space. So that's the living room. That's all we've done this week in here, but that was a huge, huge accomplishment. Now that we've done one wall, we know what we have to do for the other 3 walls, and we know it's a lot of work. Moving into the kitchen, we didn't really do anything in here except cook and eat. But it was good cooking and eating. It was my birthday this week, and so we had a great time. Cake too, and the oven works well. So come on back here into the dining room. And what you see back here in the dining room is that Lila donated this beautiful piece of artwork hung on the wall. And from a previous video, this entire space was full of donation. So the front porch was garbage, and this space was all full of donate. And so 2 of the major projects we had this weekend, right on top of priority 1, almost priority 0, was to get all that old stuff and old energy out of this house. So we did that, recaptured the space, set up the dining room table here, brought down a small secretary desk to work at, and really enjoying it. And this is a nice new space. But it gets even better. So come on back here to the back porch. You know, back here, it even sounds better. So back here, this thing was full of garbage as well. And we ended up getting all the garbage out of here and worked tirelessly to clean this space up, vacuumed it all, got all the cobwebs and spiders and everything out of here. And then this is the old refrigerator from Lila's cottage. And we hauled it over here and put it on the back, whatever this is, wet room, mud room,
laundry
room, space with a plug-in. And Anne spent hours scrubbing this beast. It was completely gross. And now we have a functional second refrigerator. We're just going to keep it for now. We don't know if we're going to need it. We may get rid of it, but at least it's here. It's plugged in, working, not sitting around in the yard. So we recaptured this space. I think it looks great. It just feels so much better. And again, I keep talking about the energy, but the more work we put into it, just the more the house, the more the home feels like our place. So really, really great. Moving back into the house, now we didn't do anything in the bathroom. Actually, we didn't. Our youngest daughter, Mia, put new toilet seats both in our place and the cottage. It's always good to replace those in a new home you're moving into. But we did all take showers. Shower works great, and the only thing that's a little weird in there, it has carpet. Okay, so in our bedroom though, come on in, check this out. Now, you may remember from the last video, we only had a twin bed in here that was left over from the previous tenant, and it was a pretty decent twin bed. We've actually moved it upstairs, but we brought our bed from Portland. We have a new bed at home, and set it up in here. Lila brought this beautiful seat for us to have at the end of the bed. It's nice. And we also had this extra armoire that matches our bedroom. So we put it to good use. We're able to use it as more or less a dresser. That's our downstairs. So this room is feeling really good. And one thing that happened since the last time, even before we brought our furniture in, was Lila came in here and painted this room for us. And so I just can't thank her enough for going ahead and doing that. She got the whole place painted. And then the first thing we did when we got here was put all the face covers on all the outlets, put all it back together, vacuumed up, set up her bed, and slept in this room the first night. It was wonderful. Welcome to the upstairs. Did some work up here. As I mentioned earlier, we cleaned up these windows. This one's actually got a broken pane, so we have to figure out how to fix that. But added handles to these windows so we can actually pull them closed. They have some funky hardware. One of the things I did do is the carpet didn't fit in here. It was actually running up the walls. And so cut that and tucked it in all along the edge, really cleaned it up. And then there was some holes over here. There wasn't any carpet. I found some scrap carpet, filled that in. I think it looks pretty good. It'll get us by for now. So come take a look here. Not much else. In the main bedroom, this is where the girls slept this weekend. They've already taken off. We have this really nice trundle bed from Lila. Brought it up here so we can have another whole bedroom to sleep in. And then a little more work we did, not much, in what we call the purple room. Is really took down these wall shelves that were in here. There was 2 shelves along the edges. We got the brackets off. Not all the brackets. Some of these are kind of messed. We're gonna have to cut them out and get them the heck out of here. But there's so much work to be done on the walls. This room itself is a huge project. So right now we just have a couple beds in here. We have the trundle in the other one, and we're good to go. This is one of the lesser priority ones. So that's the beach house. This is the last of the upstairs. Oh my God, my wings, yeah. During quarantine. So just before we went into quarantine, I was like, I need a haircut. And it was like, everything's closed, including barbershops. Oh no! So
we're gonna learn how to cut hair.
So, and Ann told me not to mention this, but we put a new toilet seat on.